All right, everyone, welcome to another episode of The Quad. Woo! All right, today, so we have a couple of announcements. One, our usual fourth cast member, Sadad, our Instagram reel highlight person, isn't here, but we've upgraded. And so today we're honored and graced to be joined by the company of Dsong, Daniel Song, and Marisa Moy. Woo! Yeah! Welcome. Dsong and Marisa. So, by the way, Dsong's name is Daniel, but we just call him Dsong affectionately. And so
I call him Daniel.
Oh yeah, Yejun calls him Daniel.
Too many Daniels.
That's true. There's just too many Daniels. I think the first order of business is let's just kind of have a time for you guys to introduce yourselves, talk about yourself a little bit, and then starting with you, Dsong.
I am a 6th year at Biola University. I'm a Bible major, concentration in biblical theology. There's not much. There's not much.
All right, Marisa.
Nice. I'm Marisa. I am a sophomore at Biola, and I am a sociology major, and I'm from Boston, Massachusetts.
Ooh, Boston. Okay. Mm-hmm. So this is actually a open trial system. Yeah. So if you guys do better than Sadad,
no way.
he's off the team. It depends on how well you guys do. Yeah. So Dsong, you mentioned that you're a 6th year at Biola, right? Very famously so. Kind of take us through that journey. What's taking so long? I feel like a lot of people have questions about that.
All right. So my first year was actually at a school in Massachusetts called Springfield College, and so I went there to play volleyball. After being a semester there, I realized that I didn't really want to invest into volleyball into the future, because only reason why I went there in the first place was to try out for the pro league in Korea. But being a 6-foot middle is just unrealistic, and the investment is just little reward. The risk to reward ratio is too high. And so I dropped out, came home, went to community college for a bit, ended up transferring to Biola my true junior year. Yes. Actually, I don't even know. It's been too long. After transferring, that was during COVID year, I went to Biola and then Biola sets you back an year because you have to take the Bible minor courses. So my standing was sophomore. And then from there, I was on track to graduate, but I took a gap semester, failed some classes, failed some more classes, and then, just didn't work out. So I'm a 6th year, and I just got an email like 2 days ago that I might get delayed again. So
no.
I don't know what to do, but I'm just going through it. At the very least, I'm trying to finish school.
That's true. Nice. Yeah, it's okay. Everyone has their own pace, man. It's just I know we banter a lot, but I actually respect you for constantly going at it. I think it takes a lot of perseverance. So, yeah. Would you say you're like kind of checked out at this point, or?
Oh no, I'm enjoying school more now than I did in the past.
Oh, nice.
I think this semester specifically, I've been really enjoying classes, going to every single one. I'm excited to go to class. Wow. And so I've been learning a lot. Very applicable. Just being able to grow in the Word of God and in my faith. Just been an enjoyment. So I'm not in a rush. 7th year, who cares, man? I get more.
You know what? Stay in college as long as you can, because the real world, it's not the best.
No, I agree, because I just graduated, and man, post-grad life kind of sucks. Yeah, like.
No, I wish I took at least one more year of school.
So 5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even maybe 6.
Or maybe 7.
You're living the dream, man. All right, so Marisa, you said you're from Boston.
Yeah.
Tell us what's the biggest cultural difference you would say between Bostonia and here in California?
There's many things. I think The first thing would definitely be drivers. People are kind of crazy here. Like they drive super fast, and I think that's alarming. Yeah. Also, people just don't know how to drive. Hot take.
In California?
Yeah, in California.
Oh, wow.
Maybe
Yeah.
you just can't drive fast enough.
Oh, that's true.
No?
Maybe you're slow. Are you a 40 miles an hour driver on the local?
Yes. Wait, isn't that the speed limit?
Isn't that the law?
Are we supposed to be law followers?
Wait, so you drive at exactly 40?
Yeah. But sometimes I go over, depending.
At 42.
What,
It's
what's
'cause-
what's the highest that you'll go over and feel okay?
Well, one time I was racing Jamar like a couple of weeks ago, and I went like 60 something
Like on the local or freeway?
on the local.
Okay, I was about to say.
On the freeway.
I'm honking at you, bro.
Wait, so you said that people move faster here, essentially, like with their cars. Do you feel like there's more of a rush here as well in people's personalities?
Oh no, everyone here is super like mellow and chill. Like,
Compared to Boston?
yeah, compared to Boston, I think everyone's
Oh,
really
interesting.
rushed. And then here, it's like more my type of people. You know, I'm just like laid back.
Do they bark at you?
Huh?
Do they bark in Boston?
No.
Do
They're in
people
You
bark?
bark
Do
here?
people bark?
They're in a rush, you know, like, get out the way, you know?
Oh, that's funny.
Oh, sorry, no.
No, really funny. Wait, so I mean, yeah. So, what would you say is the biggest difference then culturally between California and Boston, like with people? And because I feel like California people kind of get a bad rap sometimes. You know what I mean? For being rude.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wait, Bostonians are known to be rude.
That's true.
That-
Bostonians
that's-
are
yeah.
known to be
So-
actually like.
Yeah, like they're just not nice. But people here, I think they're relatively a lot nicer. I don't know if it's because we're at Biola, so everyone's nice, but relatively everyone I meet is pretty nice, even on the streets. So
Dsong, what was your experience of the Massachusetts people while
Oh,
you
that's
were there?
true.
All right.
They were a lot of white people, so like I just couldn't culturally connect, you know. The school that I went to was a party school, and so every weekend they would host like massive parties. And me growing up in a Christian household, I wasn't really exposed to those things, and so when I did go, I was just like awkwardly standing there, like I got the red cup, but there's water in it. I'm not drinking, so I was like, yeah, and they're like. And I'm not really social in class, and so I didn't really have friends outside of I didn't even have friends inside the volleyball team. But I just stuck with a couple of the guys from my dorm floor, but they ended up just getting so drunk or leaving me. And so like, at a certain point, I'm just like, okay, I'll just go home and I walk home by myself.
Let's change the episode topic.
You poor child.
Dsong's trauma.
Yeah,
Episode
Dsong's-
1.
Trauma done.
But yeah, I don't really remember anything different, except I just didn't culturally connect. But I think because California is just so immersed in a melting pot, like even people that are not Asian know Asian culture to an extent. And so I remember, okay, so I brought a packaged like pre-made meal from H Mart to Massachusetts to my college, and I heated up, right? I cooked it. It was like a 3-minute microwave thing. Like for me, it smelled perfectly fine. It smelled good. And my roommate was like, "Yo, what is that?" And I'm like, "Whoa!" And he's like, "Bro, that smells like absolute trash." And so I'm just like, in my mind, I'm just like, "Dude, it's just kimchi, rice, and tuna. Like, what's so bad about it?" So I ended up going to the restroom and just eating in the restroom by myself.
Oh, this is so sad.
And I was like, okay,
As
well.
an 18-year-old.
And so I never ate prepackaged meal after that in my dorm.
Dude, that's such a
I
traumatic
thought Asian food discrimination like was over now.
Dude,
But
yeah.
I guess it's still
Yeah, I thought it ended
alive and
after
strong.
after 3rd grade.
Yeah. I mean, no, I had that experience in 3rd grade, but not when I was like 18 years old.
Yeah, in
Oh.
your own dorm,
Wait,
own
like,
living space.
Aren't kids in like elementary schools these days like asking the Korean kids like to bring kimchi and stuff like that?
It's like kind of cool, at least
Yeah,
from what
Yeah,
I've
it's
seen.
trendy
That's
now.
what I've
Yeah,
heard.
especially the seaweed.
It's a different world people live
Yeah.
in.
Wow, that's so
Times
crazy.
change.
Wait, but
Times
that's-
change.
That is extremely sad. that you have to eat it in the
I'm so
restroom.
yeah. I'm so
Uh,
sorry.
Live and learn.
You should have forced it on him.
Dude.
Made him eat some.
Wait, I really want to change the episode topic to Dsong's Massachusetts experience.
Well, to be fair, he was in Western Mass, and that area is very not diverse at all.
That's fair.
what's
Yeah.
the difference? Yeah, would you like take us through Boston? You know what I mean? Or take us through Massachusetts.
Take you through Massachusetts.
Yeah.
Well, so it's like a rectangle with a little hook on the side. Yeah, and so Boston is like near the coast, and Dsong was like over here.
No, we're down here actually.
Oh, sorry. Waffle. And so in the city, there's like many more different cultures, and I think Boston's actually like the largest, or one of the largest Brazilian populations in America.
Really?
Wait, that's so random.
Yeah, I know.
What?
I just thought about that. And then,
How do you go there?
yeah, but like, there's nothing over there. I don't think I've ever been to Western Massachusetts. I just hear over there, that's where everyone has their accents.
Like the Bostonian.
Oh,
Oh,
the
like
Bostonian
the
accent.
Bostonian, like,
Because that's where all the white people
Oh,
are.
park the car.
Yeah, park the car. You know, things like that.
Oh,
Yeah, I always wondered where you got your accent,
What? What accent?
Wait, Marissa sounds more Californian than most people.
Yeah,
I
I
know.
know, actually. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well. Anyway, so that's kind of a insight into who Dsong and Marissa are, our guests today. But today's topic is about the impact of first impressions, and so that's the title of our episode. And so what kind of fueled this thought is, I think Yejin kind of mentioned in a previous episode. I usually have this like question of the month or like thought of the month, and the thought that I had or that I've been thinking about this month is like how impactful a first impression is, and like the potential ramifications or consequences that can come from that. And so the example I was thinking is like if you go to a big, large scale event, but then you had like 2 hours of sleep the night before, right? And obviously you're gonna show up very grumpy, like very drained of energy, and then you go to this event, and then you have to obviously meet up to all these people. To these people meeting you for the first time, you're grumpy, you're unenergized, and you're just not a very pleasant person to be around, even though the reality could be the absolute polar opposite. And then so my thought was like, oh, I wonder like how many people I've met who I just kind of categorize as, yeah, I won't vibe with them, just had a bad day the previous day. Or like how much of my first impressions of them have fueled or has like robbed me of opportunities to like have deep relationships with them or like actually get along with these kind of people, right? Or even the transverse effect, which is like their first impression is great, and I find out later that that they're not so. And so that's kind of the topic of today's episode and of today's podcast. And so I think the first question that we can just kind of go around is, what were your guys' first impressions of each other, if you guys do remember it?
Should we go person by person?
Yeah, let's go first. Let's start with our Massachusetts trauma boy over there. Yeah, everyone's first impressions of Daniel's song.
Oh, like you guys are doing me.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So Marissa.
All right, I'm ready. We actually talked about this like yesterday or something.
Oh.
When I don't actually remember exactly when I first met Dsong, but he seemed like the really cool guy. Like, I couldn't approach him because he seemed like he was friends with all the cool kids at school, and he was really tall, and I don't see a lot of tall Asians. I don't really know any, and so I was really shocked that they exist. Yeah, that's it.
I'm single, guys. Application's open. You must be a woman of God, though.
Yeah, plug the application right now.
Yeah. How tall are you?
6 foot. 5'11" and a half, though, without shoes, but generously 6 foot.
Yep, he's single.
Yeah. I think my first impression of Dsong, I always saw him like around campus and everything.
You did?
Yeah, because of the club that we were in.
Oh, I thought you were like, okay.
Oh yeah, like apart from that, but yeah, I remember the first time I tried to talk to him was actually because I heard that Daniel and like you were getting closer. It's like, oh, I want to like talk to him, like introduce myself. And I go up to you like, oh hey, I heard you like were out at the library for a really long time, but like you were praying. I like approached you from behind, and I turned around and I see you like. I was like, oh frick, I messed up. And so I like then talked to you like 2 weeks later.
I don't remember any of this.
Yeah. It's really like 2 years ago. Yeah, maybe 2 years ago. And I think I kind of just more talked to you in less situations like one-on-one, but more in group settings. And I would find a way to like kind of break apart and talk to you then. Yeah, I thought you were, I kind of agree with Marissa. I thought you were like that cool guy, especially because of like volleyball and everything. And you dyed your hair blonde.
Oh, wow.
Around that time.
Oh.
And I don't know why, but like that kind of just made you seem more like, I don't know, like anime protagonist kind of
Gosh.
thing. Like,
MC energy.
yeah. Like kind of like it separated you from the other people. So I was like, dang, this guy's legit.
I dyed my hair because I lost a bet, guys. Not because I wanted to. Just disclaimer.
Yeah, what was your first impression of?
I think for me it was kind of interesting because I live in the house, and so I heard about Dsong like for like at least a year before I ever met you in person. Like I was like, you guys were always talking about this guy who's like really good at volleyball, and then you guys would like play like replays of like Dsong's like highlights on YouTube and like games you guys played, and like you guys would like point out and say, oh, look at that like that hit right there. And then, so I just knew him as this like legendary figure that's supposed to be really good at volleyball. And then yeah, that was like my first introduction to Daniel. And then I can't remember exactly the first time I met you in person, but I think if anything, like if I just think about it, my first impression of you was probably that like you have a very like quirky personality.
Understatement.
that I like. I like that kind of personality that like doesn't like care what other people are like thinking or like wanting to present themselves as. So I don't know. I thought that was refreshing.
Oh, well, so you don't remember like exactly when you?
I don't remember. I'm pretty sure it was in this house at some point where like you came over and then I met. But it's always like with a bunch of other people. So it's like hard to always pinpoint like individual people because you guys always come in like groups. So I don't know exactly what the first meeting was like, but overall it was just like, oh, he's like that loud character that like makes energy in the room change. Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Well, Dsong, I think I've actually never told you this story, so this is first time on air that I'm telling you this. My first impression of you was terrible. Because so let me give you some backstory. Obviously I went to like Biola and I joined freshman year, but I wasn't really involved with like anything that you were involved in back then. I just heard about you, and I heard how you were just like this bully. And you were really scary and like really intimidating. That was what I heard about you, right? And then
Who said that?
Huh?
Who
Talk
said
about
that?
after.
Yeah, but that's kind of the impression that I got. And I was like, oh man, this guy's like kind of scary. And then fast forward is I started checking out this church, and then I think it was a church that you kind of checked out a little bit, the one in Irvine. Yeah. And then so that I had a friend that went there, and then she was like, oh, like what are you doing after church or whatever? And I was like, oh, I don't know. She's like, oh, you want to work out with like me and Dsong and like Charles or all these people? And then I was like, no, I'm good. I'm like, I'm okay, because I thought you were so intimidating, right? And then like fast forward, I just like saw you on campus, but I like quickly went the other way because I was so scared because I heard like so many stories. And then my first interaction of you was we were at the sub, and then we were playing.
Oh wow!
And then we were playing pool. I was playing pool, and then you and your little posse of friends are on the other table, right? And then Dsong was like, guys, go to WinterCon or whatever these things. And I was like, bro, I'm not even involved with like KCM. Like, why would I go? And then Dsong looked at me and says, all right, play me in pool right now. If you lose, you go to WinterCon. I was like, okay. We played and I lost. And he's like, all right, you have to go to WinterCon. I was like, okay. And so I ended up going.
I just wanted to add a comment. Like, I actually suck really bad at pool, and that day, like, I can say confidently it was God led. Like, I wasn't missing anything. I was like, yo, I don't know what's going on. I was like, God really wants this guy to go. And he ended up going.
Yeah, that was my first impression of you. I just got intimidated into spending $100.
Now he's the president.
That's so crazy.
Oh, wow. So that was my first impression of you.
Wow.
But, yeah, it was like such a long time ago. But actually, speaking of Dsong first impressions, I'm thinking of this story. You know that one story of when you went to Grace Church? Was it Grace? GMI? And then you had the... I feel like people's first impressions of you that day must have been insane. So yeah, can you just tell that story?
Okay. So, okay. So, for Mission Fundraiser, I dyed my hair to Mike Wazowski. So I buzzed everything off. I made it green. Yejin was the one actually that did
We'll
it.
plug the picture in the YouTube video and everything.
Yes.
And so I can't go around church having a Mike Wazowski head, obviously. So I was wearing a cap. And the conference that I was at, like it was GMI, it was like a revival conference. So this super mega famous pastor from Indonesia came to preach, and they have a connection with GMI. And so there's like thousands of like Korean ajumas and ajashis, like Korean people, and then just a lot of people just attending the conference, right? And so for me, like I enjoy conferences and I enjoy worshiping and stuff like that. And my friend invited me because he told me in the previous years just how good it was. And so me being excited, I went, right? And so the sermon was great. Praise was awesome. And they did an altar call. And if you don't know what an altar call is, the pastor, just says like, hey, if you feel convicted to X, Y, and Z, come to the front, we'll pray for you. And so this altar call was specifically for 20, like young adults. And so the prayer was like, the altar call doesn't matter. But basically it says only 10 people. He's like, only 10 people I feel like are called to come up right now. And so me being convicted, I'm like, all right, I feel called. And so I went up. And I still have my hat on, okay? And so I went up, I'm in the front, I'm in one of the tents, and a lot of people are watching us. And they're like clapping because it's a call that was basically talking about like missions and just being committed to serving God for the rest of their life almost. And so for them, they're like praising God, like, oh, like that's so awesome. God is doing so great, like so much, like amazing. And it's like everyone's like cheering. And they also have a camera, okay?
With a TV on.
They're just
Huge screen.
huge screen. And so they're like, I see like them moving, and I see in my back of the head, it's green, and it's just a cap. It's like, it's not that big of a deal. It's just like going one by one. And so the story progresses where the pastor goes to each person, right? And he will pray for them. And so it's a charismatic church. They do something called Slain by the Spirit, where you touch them, you get so overwhelmed by the Spirit of God, and you just like fall, right? And I'm at the right end of the corner. I'm like the 9th person. And so from the left, he goes one by one. And they're falling one by one, right? And he gets to me. He looks at me. He looks at my hat. He knocks it off. And what I see is a freaking Mike Wazowski haircut with the little eyeball and the mouth just open with the teeth. It's green. It's nasty. And I'm pretty sure those old ajashis and ajumma, like not knowing anything, they're like, praise the Lord, he's saved. I mean, if you look at social media, usually people with those kind of haircut are like pretty crazy, And so for them to see this young, they probably thought I might have been leaning bent or like not straight, like they probably thought I was like, wow, like God has done the miraculous things tonight and saved this guy from whatever, and now he's dedicated to God. And so he knocks it off and he pushes me, and I'm just like, bro. I'm not even caring about like what I'm praying about or like what they're saying. Just at this point, just like, dude, like I really had to be exposed to my hair like that in front of like 5,000 people, and so I'm looking around for my hat. I'm on the floor. I'm just like, where is it? Where is it? And then they put a towel over me for some reason, and so I'm just like squirming around the towel. It's like, where is my hat? And so I eventually found my hat, held on to it. And so I'm just looking around to see if the other people are getting up. And once they start getting up, I'm like, all right, I need to just put it on quick. I headed to my seat. I'm just like, bro, I need to get out of here, man. And so afterwards, I met a couple of my friends who attended the conference as well. And they're like, bro, I just knew that was you as soon as I saw the hair. I didn't even need to see the face. I was like, yeah. Like, you're going to come tomorrow morning? No, I'm not coming tomorrow morning.
Yeah, so to like hundreds of people, your first impression is what did you call a leaning bent person?
Yeah, leaning bent.
But you probably made the days for a lot of people. They were like, wow,
Hey.
God is working.
If you guys were there at that conference, you now know.
Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, I
Oh,
mean,
man.
yeah. So I mean, that's pretty eventful first impression. So that's pretty funny. Yeah. Let's move on to Marisa. All right, Dsong, you start with you. What was your first impression of Miss Moy over here?
I actually don't have any. I don't even remember meeting her, but I
Okay.
do remember her getting free meal because she won a raffle that
Right.
we hosted. So that was the first time I actually knew of Marissa, but I don't really remember meeting Marissa.
Wait, so you have no first impression of her?
I don't have a.
I'm in the same boat.
Yeah.
I think like I don't remember meeting you for the first time because you probably came with a bunch of other people.
Yeah.
But then I do feel like there was a moment where you rose to the top, like cream of the crop kind of thing,
Wow.
where like you gained sentience in my perspective. I was like, oh, Marissa's a human and she exists.
I
know her name
exist.
now.
Wonderful.
And like
Nice.
also like, you know, pretty cool.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I think
Get the stamp of
Yeah,
approval
pretty-
from
pretty
Yejun.
so you get to be at this table.
Yeah.
it's
I'm so honored.
Yeah, I think for me, honestly, I don't remember exactly when we first met. I just remember when we met, I was like, oh, she's like super bright, super energetic, and I think we got along. I think pretty much the instant we met. I don't remember when that was. Do you remember?
I remember.
Oh, okay, really? Oh,
It
what
was at Tim's.
Oh, Tim's Avenue. What
Yeah.
happened?
Well, I was just standing on the sidewalk, and then you come up to me and you're like, "Hi, I'm Daniel." And then I was like, "Oh yeah, hi, blah blah blah." And we just talked.
Oh, yeah. So it was something simple,
Mhm.
but I remember like from that day. I think I just got along with you pretty well, and I think we had that handshake pretty early.
Oh right,
Yeah,
our handshake,
yeah,
yes.
the handshake thing, and so yeah, I remember that being my kind of like my first impression of you, and so yeah, I don't know, but maybe Marissa, you just leave such a good first impression that like
Huh.
yeah.
I don't know. Well, I mean, Dsong has no memory.
Yeah, I don't remember her.
Do you guys have any like memorable? Okay, all right, we're not gonna drop names here, but like pretty bad first impressions of people. You can go anonymous if you want, but or if you guys want to share.
Bad first impressions of people.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I feel like I had a bad first impression of you.
Wait, really?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. I mean, Dan and I've shared the story many times, but when we first met, which was in 7th grade, we're both like 12-year-old boys, and like the flag football team. And the first time I see him, he throws a football at me, and I was like, "What the heck? Well, I hate this guy." You know, like the true tribalism in my prepubescent body and mind. It was like, man, this guy sucks. And like we never had classes. We only saw each other through like intramural flag football. And so I'd always like steal his clothes. He would always steal my lock, and we spray each other with water. And it was, I think we really stepped off on the wrong foot.
Yeah, me and Jamar started a relationship by bullying each other.
Yeah.
Wow.
Actually.
Wait, I did not know that.
Oh, you did?
really?
Oh, yeah, I didn't know that. This is new information.
Yeah.
Stealing stuff?
No, like it was bad. Like I remember, like I'm not really an angry person, but I felt pure rage. Like at
Yeah.
times, like I remember, like this is so memorable that I remember all the details of it right now. Where it was like I remember, our school offers like locks to give you for your lockers, but I lost mine like my 7th grade year, and so I didn't have a lock, and so my mom bought me this really nice like lock. It was, you know how there's like the number ones and there's the arrow ones?
Mhm.
Yeah, so I had a nice arrow one. It was purple, right? And I was like, oh shoot, like this is my treasured lock, right? And then we went to practice one day and it's gone. And I was like, where'd my lock go? And Jamar was like, oh, like I took it and like I threw it or whatever. I was like, you did what? And I get it, and there's a dent like in the lock where the arrow didn't work anymore, right? Because like it dented through. And then so I remember like feeling so angry. It was like my prized purple lock, and he like broke it. And I was like, I don't know how I retaliated. Did I take your clothes?
No, I don't remember.
Yeah.
But I remember another time, also within practices, I took your cleats before you came, and I like tied them and jumbled them with your lock. And I think this is the angriest I've seen you for the past 10 years. You came out to the field, I'm there, you're like, who tied my shoes? Who did this to my cleats? And I was like, oh, it was me. And then you literally kicked me. You literally like launched your foot at me and you kicked me. And I was like, what's going on? And you were really mad.
Oh yeah, I remember this actually.
But then we made up at the end of that practice and you're like,
yeah.
Is that like a junior high thing? I feel like I had like a nemesis in junior high too. That like
Oh, did you?
similar like I don't think we ever went that far, but it was always like thinking of like how to get back at this person. and like just feeling intense rage whenever I thought about them, and like what comeback I'm gonna like go back to them with like the next day when we go back to school. Like I have that same kind of like
I hate
relationship with someone.
I mean, Marisa, don't you have a nemesis?
Yeah, I do have a nemesis. Honestly, I still think they're my nemesis.
Oh, really? Current nemesis.
Yeah, my current
Are you
nemesis.
free to talk about this or expand on this?
I think I can. I just won't put the name out there.
Of course.
But we've been nemesis since first grade.
What?
Wow.
It goes deep.
He moved into my neighborhood, and it was at recess, and it was snowing, and we were playing on the playground structure, and I was at the top, and I think he was down at the bottom, and I like slipped, and I fell on top of him, and he got so mad at me. He was like, "What? Like, what's wrong with you?" And I'm like, "It was an accident, bro."
Oh my god.
And the fact is that he didn't speak English, so it was like even more awkward.
Rewind. What? Rewind.
So how did you communicate with them?
Wait, what if he was like really excited?
Wait, no. All he could say was, "What's wrong with you?" And then like that was it. And then he just hated me from then on. But we lived on the same street, and so like he would always like trash talk me to his friends, and like I was friends with his friends, and it was terrible. And I would show up at my house, and they would be right around the neighborhood because he was like the clan leader of that group, of like the little Asian boys at my school. And they would all yell my name like, oh, "Is that Marisa Moy?" And like they would like ring on my doorbell and like be like, "You want some candy?" Like things like that. Then my dad would be like, "Do you want me to go and yell at them?" And I was like, "No." So I would just go out there and be like, "Leave."
Wow, this goes deep.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is your heart rate higher right now?
Yeah, like my pulse is like going up. It's just like boiling.
Your nemesis to this day.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen him this whole past year. I worry every time I go home that I'm gonna see him
Are you
on
gonna
the
run
streets.
into him?
Yeah, I better not.
What if he was just like interested in you?
Oh, he's not. I'm sure he's not.
Oh, just pure hatred.
I'm pretty sure it's hatred.
That's
Yeah.
crazy. Oh my god.
I tried to bring him to church.
Oh, you did?
I was trying to mend our
Nice.
relationship. Didn't work.
It didn't work.
It didn't work.
Yeah, you tried your best.
You
Yeah.
tried. You tried.
Yeah.
You did a good thing.
Dsong, do you have a nemesis?
I don't.
Oh, you don't?
Did you ever have a nemesis?
I mean, my sister. There's not much more I could. I mean, am I allowed to? I don't think she would watch.
Just say it.
Say
Is she gonna watch it?
I doubt.
doubt it, right?
Wait, no, my sister follows me on Instagram. Never mind.
We'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so funny. Yeah. So, wow. Nemesis. That's so crazy. You have like an actual arch enemy.
Oh
Actually.
Yeah.
yeah. Hate the guy. I still do.
Not shout out the guy.
Yeah.
Not
yeah,
shout
no,
out.
yeah.
Hopefully he doesn't watch this.
Bad
It's not like I
situation.
follow him on Instagram.
Oh, there's no way he'll watch this. We
No.
only have like 50 viewers.
Yeah, he best not.
Yeah. Anyways, let's move on to Jamar. What are your guys' first impressions of Jamar over here?
Jamar, the only impression that I remember is him going to like different KCMs, but not coming to Biola. And so I remember just him being posted on TikTok and all these videos, and I'm like, why is this guy at USC KCM dancing with the president, but he's not coming to Biola KCM?
Oh, yo, shout out to you, USC former KC president. Wow.
And so I mean, not that I thought of it badly, but I was just like, that is a little weird.
Jamar, do you want to explain why you were at USC KCM?
Dude, I don't even wait. At that time, it was because one of my good friends, she like kind of like this is she like living space, I guess. She lived with the current or at that time, what do you call it, president. And I was visiting with that friend, and since I was visiting her, I met the president. I was talking and vibing, and at that time, that TikTok sound was like really trending, and I really liked it. And so we just it was literally straight up, just like we just did it together. And I forgot that like you guys would all see it too. And so the next time I came up to Bible KCM, everyone's like, "Jamar, why are you at USC KCM?" I was like,
So maybe he was your OG arch nemesis.
"Yeah."
Sure.
Beeping.
What about you, Marissa?
I think my first impression was we were playing, or it was the first intramural volleyball game, and I was playing against Jamar's team, which Daniel, you were on too, right? And I was outside of the gym, and I never played volleyball before, and he was playing in like a circle, and I think they invited me to play with them, and Jamar taught me how to set. Yeah, and I was like, wow, this guy's so nice. But I think I messed up his name and I called him Jamal. So that was really,
Jamal.
really awkward.
I actually feel like a lot of people call you Jamal.
Yeah, no, it happens.
I'm pretty sure I've done it once. At least.
It's Jamal, Jafar.
Jafar.
Jafar is actually like low key
That's crazy.
racially like motivated.
Yeah.
They're like, what is
That was
Jafar? Yeah, no, it's
Arabian Nights.
yeah, no, they're it's crazy. It's crazy what I get.
Yeah, I think this is actually the one I'm most interested in. I think Yejun's first impression, or everyone's first impression of Yejun, because I feel like
Oh.
he
Very
spawned
true.
out of nowhere for those people's lives, and so yeah, let's go down the line again. What was yours?
Yeah, mine, man. I just remember coming to his house often and never talking to him. And then we were just always around each other, but we never talked to each other. And so I'm just like, at one point, I just should introduce myself to him. Just because you guys never introduced me to Yejun, and so I was like, okay, I'm not just gonna.
I probably felt the same, because like sometimes like if few enough people come, I feel like they're like introduced individually, and then like I like know their name and we have like that first contact. But sometimes when people just come in a group, it's just like there's no introduction or anything, and then so like sometimes they just exist, and then like I never get to like there's like awkwardness until one of us finally is like, hi, my name is.
Yeah, and so, but my first impression was that he had a lot of wisdom, and so like every time, like he would speak while playing board games or just in general, I was like, wow, there's a lot for me to learn, and so for me it was that he's a wise guy.
Wise guy.
Wise guy.
Hmm.
Well, you, Mamoy.
I think it was kind of the same. Like we were just in the same presence, and I just did not say hi because I was like, "This is awkward." And eventually, I think because I just became more associated here that we eventually talked. But I don't know if I even formally ever introduced myself.
Yeah, I don't know if I did either.
So,
Well, this
Hi,
is
my
it.
my name's
Hi.
Yejun.
Hi.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Like 10 months later.
10 months. I think we're over that now.
Really?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
no,
way
definitely.
over that.
Oh wait, it's been like a year.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
Like,
already
at
been
least
our
a
1
year.
year anniversary.
Okay, happy 1 year anniversary.
Wow. Finally introducing each other.
Yeah, but I definitely agree. I think wise guy of the house, kind of like in the movies, like that wise old man that just sits on the bench and you just like go up to him, you're just like, yeah, how are you? And then you
She
just
calls you old.
spill out your whole life.
That was a backhanded compliment. Definitely backhanded
It's
compliment.
okay, I am old. I
Uh,
accept that.
Yeah, but you're that guy, the guy on the bench that
Guy on
just
the bench.
shows up on the movie.
I do remember like we were watching something where you were laughing at all the parts that were like
I think it was everything.
no, it was not that.
It was before that.
It was before that, and that's why I was like, Marisa, you have to watch everything everywhere.
Was it?
It might have been.
No.
It might have been
Right.
the you know the northern people.
Oh, the Northern People show. Though I don't think you ever watched that.
Oh no, I didn't
Norseman?
watch that.
I
No,
don't
I
think
didn't
she
watch
watched
it.
Norseman.
What was it? There was something where it's just
No.
the jokes that you're laughing at were
Maybe.
like what what I think a lot of the guys in the house think are funny, but sometimes a lot of other people don't. And I was like, oh, Marissa gets it.
Yeah.
She's cool.
She like has the humor.
She's one of the
And I was like,
boys.
oh,
Yeah, I'm not like the other girls.
you have to watch everything everywhere.
Oh,
And
man.
sure enough, it was like all of those special moments that Marissa was like cracking up on. And I was like, yes.
That's the
Finally.
day became valid.
Yeah.
One of us.
Yes.
Oh, so funny. Yeah, I think we talked about it before, but I think for my first impression of Yejun, I thought he was from New York, but turns out he's from Kennedy High School, right down the
All
street.
right, right.
Kennedy, K high for life. K high for life. Brando Kennedy, we praise his name with victory. Okay, sorry.
Wait, is this a fight song?
It was alma mater.
Oh,
We on. Never mind.
what was Oxford?
I don't remember our fight song.
Hell, the Oxford Picture
March.
March, and we trailed. Okay, anyways, but yeah, so I thought he was from New York, and so I thought he was just like super sophisticated, like New York, like super fast paced, and then I found out recently that he's actually from Kennedy, And I think just always it was just kind of like a distant figure, like I was saying, like he was just I don't know. I don't think I really knew you until I moved in, to be honest with you. So, but I did know he was super talented, super artistic, and well articulated, and so. But I think it was just like a very distant mutual respect kind of aspect, and so. Yeah, I guess that was I think that's my first impression of you. Really, not really memorable, but yeah.
Yeah, I think I also just heard of you as well. I knew you like before I actually came to the church that I met you at. I heard that someone at Daniel's church made an app, and I started actually going to the church. And then I met you. I was like, "You're the man that made this paper airplane."
Hey, plug your app real quick. What did you make?
Oh,
That app doesn't even exist anymore.
I was hyped.
It's a distant memory.
But the app was crazy.
That was
Yeah. What was it?
It was called Puff Plane, and like it was like based off of like Flappy Bird, but instead of like tapping, you had to blow into it and blow in a paper airplane and like keep it afloat in order to like keep it going.
It was pretty cool. Wait, why
To,
didn't
like blow into the phone.
it didn't do well?
I mean, we made it, and then like we didn't really put a lot of effort into like trying to like market it and stuff.
Rest in peace.
It was more just like a pet project.
Let's bring it back, and it'll be the new video game on the bottom of TikToks and Instagrams. It'll be like people's dopamine
While watching Quagmire Family.
or this podcast. And we'll see the game on the bottom.
That was so
Yeah.
funny. Yeah, okay, well, I guess the only person left is me. And so I heard kind of like your guys', right? But Dsong and Marissa, kind of what was your first impression of myself?
I only remember you being very prideful.
Oh, that's crazy.
But not in the sense of like you against other people, but more of like self, like body. I remember stretching this guy on the volleyball court because he had a lower back pain. And he was like, I'm gonna keep playing. I'm like, dude, it's not worth playing on top of the injury. And so I was showing him like lower back exercises or like stretches. I'm like, dude, I don't think it's gonna help. Like, I think you should just rest. He's like, no, I'm gonna play. So I just remember seeing him playing every single time. I'm just like, bro, what's going on? He's gonna blow up his body.
And my body was blown up indeed. Oh, was that? So our first meeting was me getting injured and you stretching me out?
I don't remember. I just remember seeing you around Jamar and Alex. And I know that you guys talked a lot and Alex was just standing there by himself. Alex is the camera guy, by the way.
Right now.
Yeah, hi Alex.
Hi, Alex.
I'm single.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Alright.
This man's cursed with even naming your name.
Oh wow, I didn't know that was one of our. I actually don't remember that. So, so interesting. All right, what about you, Miss Moy?
Well, I already shared a little bit from
Yeah.
Tim's, but do you want to hear the real
Yeah.
truth?
The character.
I'm kind of scared.
Not gonna lie, I thought you were a dog.
What? Yes. What does that even mean?
Like, you had the character traits of like someone who's just kind of red flag energy.
Wait, are you using the word dog to be nice, or do you actually mean like?
No, she said red flag energy.
Yeah, I feel like
Please expand.
the word coming to mind is f boy.
A little bit.
Oh god, I didn't know you. Okay, this is
Well,
nice.
we were talking and you were like a really nice guy, but I just like I observed you from afar. And I was like, oh, this guy likes to talk to a lot of girls, and I was like, suspicious. And at the time, I was like, this guy's interesting. But we became friends in the end, so.
Do you think
So
your
good.
initial observations were correct?
The next person.
No way! The silence was so loud. The silence was so. Wow, that's crazy. I didn't. Oh, really? That was when I had my ears pierced too, right?
Well, yeah, your ears were pierced.
I remember that.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's wow. I didn't know. Well, I hope I don't. I'm not. I don't think I am like that. But that's not for me to decide, I guess. But
Well,
that's so crazy.
I think
Alex is shaking.
Yeah, I was shaking his head. That's crazy. But
man, but I think that goes right into the next idea of like, man, like what are people? What else do you hear about how people, perceive you?
me, myself.
Or like I guess all of us in general, like what are things you hear about, how people perceive you and their first impressions on you? Because I feel like I've heard from some people that they think you're a dog as well.
Really?
Is this a common?
I don't know if it's a common thing, but it's definitely not like.
Everybody, if you look at him right now, like you see a little aura.
Oh, really? This is actually the first time I've heard of.
Oh, really?
This. Maybe people just don't say it to my face. But now I'm like self-reflecting on what I act like. I don't know, guys. I'm not even dating. How is that even possible?
That's why you're a dog.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So that's so interesting. I'm kind of at a loss for words. This is not okay. But yeah, I didn't know that. But I think how I've been perceived. I don't know. I think I've heard stuff like talkative, right? I've heard stuff like outgoing, or maybe obnoxious. Maybe along those lines, but like in the negative aspects of it. But I don't think I've ever heard what Marisa just said. That's crazy.
Yeah. I think something that like tells a lot about people's characters. Like, oh, I can tell this person's like an older brother. Oh, I can tell this person's like an only child. Do people, assume that you have a brother? Or whatnot.
Yeah, I have a wonderful little brother, and I think people have only assumed that I'm an older brother. I don't think I've ever heard anything, to be honest with you. Yeah, I don't know. That's very. I think I'll talk about this like maybe a little later on the episode,
sure.
But yeah, I don't know. It's kind of interesting, but yeah, interesting. What about you, Dsong? Do you get dog too all the time?
Actually,
Because I'll be honest with you, I've heard that of you too. Obviously, yeah.
okay.
Plug yourself.
Okay. So for me, people actually get turned off after getting to know me. So.
No, start from the beginning. Start with how they think you are.
Okay.
Let's take a step back.
All right. So basically, like people usually get to know me, or like they first meet me when I'm playing volleyball, right? Because KCM it has volleyball tournaments, and so when I'm playing volleyball, like obviously I'm energetic. I'm not a talkative person when it comes to like social settings. I'm only talkative when it comes to like comfortable like this kind of situation, and so I'm just standing there. Not talking much, and then smiling often here and there, laughing here and there. And so for them, they just see a tall Asian guy who plays volleyball well and, doesn't talk much. And so how I've been labeled as is not my words, like, oh, cool or mysterious or like whatever, right?
6 foot.
People play.
6 foot, like
Attractive.
People say
D3.
Cool, mysterious.
Anyways, but then once they start talking to me, once I start opening up, they slowly lose that perception of me very quickly. And so if I had people tell me in the past, like, oh yeah, my friend was interested in you, and then she heard you talk, and she's not interested in you anymore.
Crazy.
And it's not just once, it was like multiple times. And so like for me, like, damn, dude, am I really the problem? Like,
Wait, I'm so sorry.
am I the problem here? Like, I'm just being me, like.
Wait, I didn't know. Wait, really?
Yeah.
Multiple
Like,
occasions?
it wasn't even just like 1 year, but it was like throughout my college years where people would tell me like, oh yeah, she thought you're really good looking, you look really cool, and then she got to know you and she's like, oh no, never mind, I don't want to talk to that guy.
That's so tough.
Wait, that's so tough.
And after a certain point, I'm like, maybe I should just stop quiet. Like I just stay quiet and just never talk again.
Then you'll find the one.
It didn't work anyways.
Wait, that's so. I didn't know that.
Yeah, and so that's why when I meet other people, I'm a little more reserved until. Actually, no. At this point, I just do whatever is there.
Wait, yeah, but again, let's change the episode title to Dsong Therapy.
At that point, does your ego take like a net zero?
Oh, for sure. Like, after a certain point, just like, bro, I really am the problem.
That's so gross.
No, because I feel like girls are like, oh yeah, you're like really cool, and like ego up.
Yeah.
Like no,
yeah.
Oh, okay.
And so when I meet new people, I'm more reserved. I'm like, oh, I can't bark right now. Like, I gotta stay still.
That's the first thing you thought.
Oh my gosh.
but
Bark.
the cool thing about this entire situation is more spiritual approach. Like God is a redeemer or a restorer, and so for me in my insecurity, I'm just like, man, like it hurts hearing that. But I had to understand that God made me uniquely as I am, you know? And so finding confidence in the design of who I am instead of trying to run away, instead of trying to cover it up. Because I found myself when I was trying to cover up just to woo a girl, I felt such a burden. It's just like, it was so heavy. Like I just didn't enjoy being with the person. Even though she was a great person, I just didn't have fun. And so my learning lesson from this was like, I'm gonna be who I am. If they don't like me, then they don't like me, and that's okay. They're not the person for me. And so I mean, if you're a girl who barks and who loves God, you know, like
Works out.
you know, like hit my line, you know. Yeah, that's my first impressions.
Wow. What about you, Marissa? What's something you've heard?
If I show up by myself without like people I'm familiar with, then I usually get like quiet and like shy, which is like kind of off-putting because I feel like I'm not like that at all. But then if I come with people that I'm comfortable with, I'm like high-key crazy. People tell me I'm weird, or they think I have 2 older brothers, but I actually have 2 older sisters.
She's into toes.
What? That's a rumor that's being spread. Just saying.
Not publicly on the air.
Not publicly on the air. Yeah, but usually I get like very bruh girl, chill energy is what people tell me.
Oh, interesting. Do you feel like that kind of pertains to the image you want to set, or is that kind of off-putting when you say it? Like, that's not who I am.
I think it's pretty accurate. Yeah, I'm not against what people say. It's whatever. I like being called weird. Honestly, I think it's a compliment.
That's what I'm saying, man. It's more fun.
Yeah, it builds character.
Yeah.
Like,
True.
I'm special.
Yeah.
You are special. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. What about you, Jamar? What about you?
I think it's kind of been changing recently, but before I used to get like intimidating a lot.
Really?
Yeah.
From who?
Like, well, I intimidated you because you thought I was mean. Okay. So, but yeah, I would get like intimidating. I think people just saw large Filipino man, or maybe like large Samoan, large Indian, large Mexican man, and kind of just made assumptions through that. But I remember like off the bat, like people just seeing me, like I guess intimidating. I think it kind of makes sense because whenever I'm in public, like I'm like kind of shy, so I don't want to talk to anyone, and so I just put on like a face where I'm like, and I'm just like walking around campus, and I was like, I really don't want to talk to anyone. But I think recently, I guess it kind of changed. Because much like randomly, people like kind of just approach me, like strangers approach me, like ask me questions, and I'm like, I'm supposed to look like cool and mysterious right now. Like you're not supposed to talk.
Dsong.
Yeah, I'm trying to look like Dsong right now. Like why are you talking to me right now? But yeah, I don't know. I think also people said, like funny, and just not. Oh, I think one thing that has stuck with me for like a few years is like I'm like a. There's other people's words, but I'm also single. But
This is a plug podcast.
yeah, just kidding. But someone said that like I'm like okay, it feels cringe to come out of my mouth, but like people have said that I'm like a teddy bear. Like at first I'm like scary, but then you talk to me like I'm like the softest person you'll meet.
That makes those questions crazy.
Yeah.
These songs just be like, oh, wow.
But yeah, enough of that.
But that's it.
Yeah.
That's
That's all I want to say.
Yeah. What about you?
I feel like their description is pretty accurate of what I also hear. I think like when I'm in a situation that I'm not used to or I don't know anyone, I can disappear and like not exist for anyone in that room unless I make an effort, which is fine. So yeah, I do think I give off either like very reserved or like shy first impressions, and it's only with people I'm really close to that like I don't know what's the word today, like the delulu comes out. I don't think even the people in this house have seen like true delulu of me. Only certain like older friends that have ever seen that side of me. So my desire inside is always to let that delulu out, but I think that's like, it would not be good.
The layered emotion.
Yeah. I have to keep it hidden, only for the right people.
Man, we're not those right people yet. It's because we're too young, guys. But, yeah.
What's wrong with us?
Yeah, I think Dsong kind of mentioned this earlier about your entire like first impression that you give off to like the opposite gender or any of those kind of things, right? And so I think the question that kind of pertains to that really is do you have first impressions that you want to give off to different company, like your family, your friends, and then like potential partner or whatever? What do you think? Like, is there a discrepancy, or do you try to make a discrepancy there? Or is it just the same? Like is there one? Like, what are the stories you've heard about things are like? If you do feel like there is a discrepancy, like kind of describe like what's the difference between each company, like friends, family, potential girl or boyfriend or whatever. Yeah.
Was this personal, or am I just saying in general?
It's all for yourself. So it's like it's like I'm sure you're a certain way around your family, or you're a certain way around your friends, or you want to be perceived in a certain way around your potential whatever. Yeah.
For me, when it comes to like older people or like traditional Koreans, like more respect and honor. So like with my parents, I mean obviously, they already know kind of person I am, but they don't really know me too well to the extent, just because there's a language barrier. And so there's always that sense of respect that I show. But in terms of like strangers, like if I go to like a Korean restaurant, like I don't act crazy. Normal, so they're like, oh, what a good kid. But when it comes to like friends, like peers, I act normal unless I am with friends. So if I'm with a group of friends where I'm comfortable, like I'm just myself, right? But if I am in a completely new social setting where I don't know anybody, I'm very reserved, like very calm, collected, and so they're very different impressions based upon who I'm with. But when it comes to potentials, at this point, I don't even know. I don't know what works. I don't know what doesn't work. I'm just throwing a dart, hoping it lands.
Wait, but how do you want your future partner to perceive you? Like if you had to like present yourself.
Man, I'd rather have her perceive me for who I am, like right as who I truly am, which is like someone that likes to have fun, that can be serious when it's needed to be serious, but they can like just chill, Like I like joking, I like messing around. Why is your stomach growling?
That's not me. Is that you?
No.
Yeah, I like stomach growling.
No, I just hear a little. I'm sorry, I was distracted. But yeah.
Yeah. What about you, Marisa?
Can I go pee?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, thanks.
Dsong has left the studio. All right, but what about you, Marisa?
I think for friends, I want to seem approachable and like someone comfortable to talk to. But I also want to be funny. Well, actually, with girlfriends, I think I try harder. Like I want them to like me and be like they want to continue our relationship after I talk to them. Then for guys, it's more like I make jokes. That's it. I just say stuff that is kind of offensive.
To guys?
Yeah. And then they want to be friends with me, so.
Like a bro girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dang. Does you wanting to impress girlfriends come from unboxed sister drama?
Possibly. That could be highly likely.
Nice. Yeah,
Should we
honestly.
break it down? No, I'm okay.
We break it down. Yeah, it's up to you.
Yeah, so I think for a potential partner then, would it be like similar to what Dsong was saying, just like kind of yourself?
Yeah.
Or do you kind of set, like I guess first impression wise, like a different foot forward when you kind of are in that space per se?
I think for me personally, I don't really look at people like prospects.
Oh, like
it's
friends
more like,
first? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm much of a friends first before I even consider them. Yeah, so.
That's solid.
Dang.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right. Dsong is back in the studio after. Alex, did it come out on the sound? You can hear.
You ruined my whole clip.
All right.
He was actually pouring a bottle of water.
Oh, that was so funny.
My bad, guys.
Yeah, it's okay. It happens. Yeah. What about you, Jamar? Kind of like friends, family, potential.
Yeah, I think with friends, I think what happens kind of often that I see is like people introduce their friends to me, and like honestly, like I always get scared. I'm like, man, like why are you introducing your friend to me? Like, to be honest, like I don't care. Or like
Don't ever introduce your friend. He doesn't care.
He doesn't care about people.
Yeah.
no, it's like
He's filled the quota.
no,
It's filled.
I mean, it's just like it's like man, like I just want to like do my own thing, you know, or I'm just like scared and shy, or a mixture of both. But I think I always try to like just be funny. I think something that I've kind of learned how to do recently. Maybe I haven't. Maybe I'm just kind of biased, but I think I like taking control of like awkward situations and it's like just kind of making it funny. So yeah, if I'm like talking to someone, it kind of just goes a little stale. I just like say something and we just laugh and then we just go our separate ways, kind of detour ourselves from that kind of experience. But I think in terms of a relationship, I think like yeah, when people say like, oh, I'm putting my best foot forward, I think my best foot forward is just like just being funny, trying to figure out their humor code, and like to hear them for who they are, I guess. Yeah, just hear where they're coming from, I guess. Yeah, like empathizing. So yeah, that would be my best foot forward.
Yeah, I think you have a very special relationship with your mom. Like with your mom and your sister at least, like how would you say is your kind of impression upon them? Is it different from like what your friends view you or yeah?
Oh, most definitely. I think I don't know why, but I think
Sorry, Alex is like grabbing a cup out of the cupboard, trying to be but he's pouring water. This guy had one job.
He's ruining the audio.
I think it's kind of interesting. I think my relationship with my mom, my sister, is like, or the way they see me. I think that's like the part of my life, or like I guess circle around me where I'm like most comfortable, and so like I don't really try, and so what that looks like is just me like kind of just not saying anything. So we like just hang out and like I just kind of chill around and hang out with that kind of aspect. With my younger sister, I mean she's a lot younger than me, so it's also just in general like can't have like specific kind of conversations. And so what I do is like I just throw her on the bed. I just wrestle her. You know, you just like typical older brother things. Yeah. I think speaking upon that too is like I don't. It's not like a direct effort I try to do, but I kind of pride myself in ensuring that like people know that like I'm like an older brother. Or like not like older brother for them obviously, but like I have a younger sister, and like it kind of like low key like a little bit kind of offends me when people think like I'm the youngest kid or like middle child or only child. I'm like, man,
Which one's the worst?
which one's the definitely younger child? Because like I'm the not like complete opposite, but like
You have two youngest children next to you right now, so why is that so offensive?
because I'm the older child. You know, it's just like the matter of fact. Nothing wrong with being a younger child, but it's like I have developed the traits of being a older sibling.
What does that mean? Does it mean Marissa doesn't have the traits of an older sibling?
I love being the youngest. What are you talking
Because
about?
you're the youngest and not the oldest. Okay. If someone said you give off oldest sister vibes, how would you take that?
Oh, that's a compliment. Like, they think I'm mature and wise.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
So by
Yeah.
okay. Just for the record, Jamar says for any youngest children out there, you guys are immature, and he hates being perceived in that way.
Yep. I'm sorry, guys. Sorry, but anyways, enough about me. So Yeji, how would you take on this question?
I do feel like I do think about first impressions a lot, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. Like, if I know that I'm going to meet new people for the first time, or like my friend's gonna like introduce me to like another group of their friends, I do think I take the opportunity to like try and change my behavior a little bit to see like how that affects their like first impression of me. So like I might try being a little more outgoing than I usually am and like make that extra effort to like really like introduce myself to everyone and like do that thing, or like I try to be the person that like or I'll try to be the person like makes a lot of like jokes or something like that. And like each time I'm presented with a new situation, I think about like how can I like change my perception in a way that's like different from before or what I've experienced before. So I do like meeting new people, but it's usually if I'm meeting like it's not just like random people. If it's like a second degree connection, I think those are the best because then like there's at least some kind of rapport that you can work off of, and then like you can experiment with like how that relationship turns out because I changed like my certain behaviors. So I do think about that a lot, and I don't know if I found like any kind of ideal type of like first impression action like personality, but I don't know. I find that fun.
So I think in like maybe a family or like, you know, I think we talk about, like, we're talking romantically, but I think, you know, romantically is significant because obviously it's kind of what, you know, you want to be comfortable around at the end of the day, right? And so for that kind of sphere, would you say you kind of abandon that and just be yourself, or like do you still try to do that kind of stuff?
I think I still would try to a little bit at least, because I don't feel like I have like a very concrete like base self that I like care to like nourish or like present. Like I don't think there's like, oh, this is who I truly am and this is how I want people to like know me as. I don't think I have that personally. So I'm more of a chameleon type of person where I'm able to and try to like change myself to fit the other person that I'm dealing with. So I don't really feel a need to have to like present a certain type of authentic self. I think all of those different selves that I present is an authentic version of myself.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I think for me, you know, I think this is the first time I've actually said this, but I kind of like doing the transverse effect of a first impression, in the sense of where, you know, I think to be honest, like I like having fun, I like joking around, but I think my truly genuine self is like at the heart of it a nerd, right? I like sitting down, I like talking about like deeper things, and I like that's kind of what I enjoy more about in the nuances of life. So I think actually, to be honest with you, my first foot forward always is the goofy, like very chill kind of perception of myself, because to be honest with you, I'm kind of afraid that people wouldn't find the other side as appealing. And so once I become comfortable through what is like a normal sense of interaction, like humor is universal, right? Goofiness or that breaking the ice is always universal. I think once I break that ice, then I can assess, you know, whether or not this person is someone I can like actually get to know. It's when I start truly being myself.
So you mean you assess whether they're intelligent enough to hold conversation with you?
No, it's not even intelligence. I think
That's dog behavior.
That's crazy. Wow, way to twist my words. But I just think that, I think it's because like I want this is, I think this has been something that's been kind of changing in me over time. I think initially like I loved to be perceived as like, oh yeah, he's like in high school, like oh, he's so this, he's like so accomplished, or he's like so smart, or like X, Y, and Z. But I think like those kind of traits that, you know, I'm not saying that I am, but whatever, but I'm just saying like those kind of traits that people I wanted to initially perceive me as, I kind of wanted them to find out like and judge for themselves on their own later. Like I didn't want to give a preconceived image of myself per se, you know what I mean? And so I just kind of chose a universal language, which is humor, and the universal language of like lighthearted banter or making fun of people. And so I think a negative effect of that is I think, you know, some people just never got into a deep relationship with me because it just never worked, you know what I mean? And like, you know, it is what it is. But I think hopefully like my whole thing is like, I think for those who I do get to know deeper, I'm like very much more like genuine. I take a lot of effort into what I say with those relationships and stuff like that. And I think I reveal a lot more about like what I do, who I am, the deeper we get into those kind of things. And so, yeah. And so I think, you know, on a family basis, it's the opposite. My guys, just for reference, my parents are extremely accomplished people. They both have PhDs. They have 2 master's degrees. They went to Seoul and Yonsei University, respectively, and so they're very accomplished. I think so. Honestly, I think with my family, like time to flout, dude. It's like, it's like I did this mom or I did this mom or these kind of things. And I think growing up, it was like tenfold. Like I had to show her that I'm this person, or I had to show her that I'm this or whatever. And I think it still holds true to this day. But I think after moving out, my relationship with my mom got a lot better. I think I'm definitely more genuine with myself, but I think there's still a little bit of there. And I guess the last question is like the romantic basis. I think romantically it's I guess I'm just like 3 layered with like friends, family, and I don't know.
What is he, Marissa? What is he?
Dog.
No, I think romantically it's just I just want to be myself. I think my biggest litmus test for like anything romantically is like if I'm okay spending the whole day with you and I don't feel uncomfortable, that's it right there. And so I think that includes everything, like my goofiness, my more serious side. I think that just kind of encompasses everything. So I think on a romantic basis, it's just like, man, if you don't like me, then whatever, that kind of thing. So it's like that's kind of how I approach that situation. But a question though is for you guys, what's the type of profile you look for, right? Because we can deny it all we want, but like kind of the topic is talking about, first impressions leave such a huge impact on how our relationship with people work, right? And so what's like the type of profile you look for in a friend, or maybe even like a significant other, or whatever these kind of things, like what's the profile or the first impression that you kind of look for? Yeah.
I look forward in another person, or they look forward in me?
Other person. So like you're meeting this person for the first time, and if they don't check off this first impression box, and it is what it is. Yeah.
Oof, that's hard.
Yeah.
I don't think I have one. Just because first impressions don't really last long for me unless it's like really bad or really good. Like just that okay, I need to stop with that. But anyways, I don't really look forward for anything just because I know that each person that I meet is different compared to the next person. And so I can only get to know people more the more I interact with them. So I wouldn't really necessarily say I have a profile that I'm looking for, unless it comes down to a wife. Then
Okay,
yes.
so in the case of a wife, what's the first impression or impression? Yeah, what changes?
Big old smile on his face.
Like she's gotta be confident in herself, Like
Something changed.
if she can joke, on the first impression, like a first date, not first date, sorry. First impressions, like us interacting, if she can like mess around and not take herself too seriously or put up a front, that is something that I'm very attracted to, just because I think confidence at the end of the day, it really comes down to your acceptance of who you are. But from a spiritual perspective, especially if they're a woman of God, I think confidence comes down to understanding how God designed you as well. And so if I can find someone that is confident on the first impression where they just themselves entirely without, well, not that I would know because it's the first time I meet them. Now, okay. Wow.
See, yeah, that's kind of the topic we're getting at right now, right? It's like your first impression of people is like how much of it does it dictate your relationship?
Do you guys find that your first impression of a person usually is spot on, or is it actually contrary to who they really are?
I would say for me it's a little more accurate compared than not. I don't know. I just like not like calculative, but I'm like factoring in everything that they say, the way they act, the way they interact with other people. And so for me, it's like a roadmap. Is it a roadmap? Anyways, I just like factoring in everything. I'm like, oh, this is the kind of person they are.
Yeah.
And I would say more or less it's accurate. It leans more towards accurate than not.
What makes you know that it's like their behavior is a pattern or whatever? Like,
yeah, it's like, oh, like what do
like,
I?
how do you know that it's accurate?
Oh, like I just interact with them. Oh, are you? Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
Because it's like kind of what like Regin was saying, right? It's like you interact with the person, you perceive them in a certain way, and then the reality could be just totally the opposite of what your perception is, and then your bias comes in. And it's like, how do you know if it's truly that?
Yeah, because I think what the words that they say has a lot of weight, regardless of if it's subconsciously or consciously they're saying it. It's like the way they talk about career, the way they talk about friendships, the way they talk about like food or whatever. I think even if it's in a lighthearted manner, it also reveals their inner heart, no matter like how abstract the subject may be. I think at the end of the day, their word choices, their posture, and everything reveals who they are, because that's just their whole self. And so, I mean, at the end of the day, there's a error margin, right? So I can't say with 100% certainty, hey, yo, that person's weird, or that person's funny. But yeah, it's a useful tool I learned along the way of interacting with people.
Yeah, I think our initial question was like the profile, but it's kind of I think this is kind of interesting to talk. We'll come back to that. It's like I think for you too, Marissa, it's like what are some traits you look for that determine the first impression of people? Are you usually right? And if like were there occasions where you were wrong? Like does it take a lot for you to change your perceptions? Like those kind of things.
Oh, I think I'm pretty like flexible with how I perceive people. It just like comes naturally, but I do think most of the time I'm wrong, because like. I mean, Daniel's not actually a dog. Let's be real.
You heard it here first.
Like,
Take it back your claim.
Yeah, like right, like now that we know each other and we've had good conversations, Daniel's not a dog. He's a nice guy. Jamar's name's not Jamal. But yeah, I think I'm usually wrong about like guys, and then girls I'm usually right. Like I perceive them pretty correctly.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Why do you think that's why do you think that's the case?
I think it's because I only have sisters, and so I didn't have that many guy friends in like growing up, so I just don't know.
You
Yeah.
just understand the female psyche.
Yeah. What can I say? Yep.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah. What about you?
Yeah,
Mark?
I think in terms of like, wait, can you repeat the beginning of the question?
Yeah, it's like what dictates your first impression of people? Like,
Oh, yes.
does it change often? Like, etc. Those kind of.
I think immediately one of the things like I categorize people in my head is like if they're a listener or if they're a talker, and I feel like every time I meet someone I can really kind of feel like I have a very good sense of how I should be interacting with this person, whether I let them talk or I should be the one like talking and leading this. And I think that's like I don't know, maybe it's pretty intuitive, it's pretty maybe common sense for others, but I think that's something I always categorize people with. However, anything else but that, I feel like my assumptions and thoughts of people of like their first impressions are kind of like wrong. I feel like I kind of really eat up their first impression or like them putting their best foot forward, and like I kind of like fall into it, and I kind of just don't really think past that. I kind of just take it really face value. And so when people don't live up to, I guess like the expectations that they set up or my expectations or whatever, like I'm much more shocked, I guess. I guess sometimes like there'll be like habits or patterns that I can pick up and like, oh, I couldn't see that coming, but I'd probably say more often than not I kind of don't see it coming, or I'm more shocked, or I'm more trusting, I guess, in the person.
So do you have like a more optimistic view of humans?
I think so. I think especially, I think what I've seen most actually is if most of my interaction with them is just one-on-one based. I feel like a way I try to dictate whether my first impression is right or wrong is seeing how people interact with other people. Like taking that third person perspective, or the outside party perspective, I feel like that for me allows me to see more of who they are and whether my assumptions or not are more accurate. But if that's kind of more secluded and more exclusive of each other, then yeah, like my opinion is very enclosed to what I've seen and experienced.
Is there like a standout occasion where like it was just like totally the flip of your first impression?
I think maybe not like first impression, but there's like this one friendship that I think of, very close friend like throughout my life, and sharing or just having this good relationship with between this person and I. But as we get older and older, like I just hear things about like how this person has like relationships with other people and how they're not so well, and then how this kind of just a lot of like I guess rumors, but I don't know how. I guess rumors because a lot of people are saying it, but it becomes very consistent. It becomes very constant, and then eventually I did see it with like my own eyes, and I was like, man, like I was like, what? But even though it was like so constant and like consistent, I'm like, yeah, try and keep it as vague and anonymous as possible. But I think that was like very shocking because this person was like also really close to me, and I couldn't be. I was like, oh man, there's no way this person could be as not like evil, but like there's no way this person can be as bad or as like detrimental to relationships as what I'm hearing. But I was wrong. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that must have been quite the shock.
Yeah. It was.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like that's why like what you were saying about like needing to see people interact with other people is so important. Especially like I think with like dating too. It's like when you're one-on-one with someone, there's so much room for manipulation.
Oh, for sure.
And like there's way less variables in those situations, and like a person can really present themselves in a specific way and like in some ways delude the other person really easily. But then once you start going out into the world and like having to interact with multiple variables, like that's when like people's like true behaviors come out. And like I definitely think I look for those situations to really assess like a person's like true character. And like I don't really always trust like that one-on-one first time impression kind of thing, because yeah, I just think there's a lot of room for really putting on a specific persona or mask and like keeping that face up without having anything like deter that. So yeah.
So this is a question off the top of my head for you then. Yeah, you just said that you're like kind of like a chameleon in different situations. Does that fuel why you think that way? Because you're kind of like, oh, like maybe this person is also putting on a different persona than what truly is, or any of that.
No, not necessarily. I think the chameleon thing is more like I don't feel like I need to force upon a person a certain type of character for the sake of doing that. I think it's like it's easier for me to just be like, oh, this person is like a feeler, right? So I'm going to like connect with them, like, and like, you know, use more emotion-based language with this person than I would with someone that I know is like a thinker and is more logical. Like the way that I'm going to converse with these two people is going to be different, and it's easier to just base my behavior to help them than to like have to like force my specific like personality traits upon them.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I think for me, first impressions. Yeah, I think I'm a big philosophy guy, and so I think this thought has kind of been in my head for a while. I think I've been thinking about it recently too. But yeah, I think because this has kind of been in my head, I don't trust people's first impressions at all. Like, to be honest with you, because I think it's not even their fault. Like I do this too. It's like everyone wants to put their best foot forward, and if that's your best foot forward, then that's not your true, genuine self. And so I've never really trusted first impressions. And so I think it's because I know like my own behaviors too. Like everyone wants to look good when you first meet everyone. So I think as a result, like I never trust people's first impressions. And so for people who are kind of in my inner circle or people that I trust or friends of, like there are people who honestly I've kind of passed my litmus test of like X amount of interactions and like, okay, this is truly who they are, and I feel like I'm comfortable enough pursuing this relationship with them. Am I always correct? No. You know what I mean? Like, I think like I've had many occasions where it's like I thought this person was great or not, and they turned out not what I perceived them, or even stuff like I thought this person wasn't so great, and they turned out to be one of my best friends or whatever. And so yeah, I think that's kind of how I see first impressions as, like, and I've always kind of perceived it in that way. And so kind of going back into like our previous question about profiles, right? Dsong, you kind of answered this. Well, Marisa, what would you say is like the profile of person that you kind of are seeking as a friend? We always go back to the romance too, but like whatever, yeah, but yeah.
A profile of a friend?
Profile, like the type of impression that you're seeking upon people.
Oh.
Honestly, yeah.
Like, so the other person.
The other person, exactly.
I think, as long as we get along well, I think that's like the big point that would make me want to continue talking to this person. Like if we just have good compatibility and like things flow and it's not like really awkward, then I'm good.
Well, what usually determines that, like when things go well or like it's like vibing well? Like what kind of things like do you look for that like you're like, oh, this is working out?
Usually they laugh at my jokes. And also, like, they ask me questions, I ask them questions, and we just have similarities. Yeah.
So if they're like a conversationalist and if they find you funny.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect.
Okay.
Wonderful.
That's all it takes.
Would you say that applies to you in a romantic setting as well? Like very similar traits?
Yeah, probably, yeah.
All right, you're here, folks. Conversationalist and funny. Yeah, the key to Marisa's heart. All right, what about you, Jamar? Yeah.
In terms of a person and romantically.
No, it doesn't even have to be romantically. Yeah, I guess friend and
Yeah.
romantically. I mean, there is a discrepancy there for sure.
For sure.
Yeah.
I think generally, what I look for, honestly, like, low key, like maturity. I think maturity is like something that I kind of like, you can sense. Not just like what they talk about, but I feel like how they talk about things, like how they process things. I think a big way I try to like differentiate the way I view people is that like how they approach situations. It's like, oh, this like, not even if it makes like logical sense or if there's just like good backing. I think what upsets me most is like when people make like very actually I don't know how to phrase this. I was about to say like when people make very like spontaneous decisions. But like that
You're
kind of hypocritical. It's kind of hypocritical. But like I want to say like spontaneous decisions that could have wow. I was about to say spontaneous decisions that are bad and could have been avoided if you thought about 5 more seconds into it. But I instantly think of the San Francisco trip whenever I say that. So I take that a little, but I guess that was like an example of immaturity also. So I guess.
I mean, would you do that again?
Oh no, definitely not.
Like, let's say that never happened,
Uh-huh.
right? You guys
Uh-huh.
never went on the San Francisco trip, but the same conversation arose right now, and you and your friends were like, "Dude, let's just go."
For reference, you two, because you guys don't. Yeah, so me and Jamar went to San Francisco at 12 a.m. To decide to see the Golden Gate Bridge
On a random night.
on a
Just
random night.
randomly.
Just spontaneously.
What
Yeah.
is
They
this?
had not planned anything
2 years
out.
ago.
Which is when? Yeah, we're just like, let's go.
Yeah, we're gonna go in the morning, see the Golden Gate Bridge
And come
and the
back.
sunrise.
And then they had a deadline to be back by the next day. Like, they couldn't just like go and like hang out there. They had to be back by a certain time.
Oh.
Right? And I was like, guys, just like plan it out. San Francisco has a lot to offer. Plan it out, and then go another weekend and have a lot of fun. If you go right now, you guys are just gonna be tired, and it's gonna suck, and you're gonna regret driving all the way there, wasting gas. Well, I gave them a litany of reasons, and they're like, yeah, we're still gonna go.
Yeah, no, it was actually terrible.
Crazy.
It sucked.
So you wouldn't go.
Oh no, I don't think so. No,
Oh,
I
really?
think there's no way.
I would go.
Oh, really?
You would go.
I don't believe in regrets. Like
Yeah, but then imagine
like right now.
right now, like that never happened,
Uh-huh.
right? Like that whole situation never happened, and you're presented with the same situation now, and,
And
you're older and wiser now.
And I don't have
I would
the-
hope.
And I don't have the preconceived experience of what happened in the past.
Yeah,
This is
yeah.
a brand new experience.
Brand new experience.
Yeah, I'd go.
Same conditions.
1000% I'd go because like this is kind of like tangent, right? But I'm a big believer in like, yo, you got one life, like YOLO to the fullest. You know what I mean? It's like, but in the sense of like, yeah, it's stupid, right? And yeah, it's maybe not sensible, and we could do it better. But if other people are down, I think even like memories are made even in suffering together. And I like, even if we come back like, man, that trip sucked, right? It's still something that me and that people group together experienced as a group. And so I'm a big person on making memories together, good or bad. And if I'm presented with the same enthusiasm that we had back then, I would still do it 100%. Because I think for me, the gas, the responsibility, and the money, sure, it's significant, but I always value the memory that I have with those people much more higher than money always comes back, right? Gas always comes back. Fatigue, you sleep it out, right? Like those things are repeatable factors, but this once in a lifetime experience of being stupid when I'm young never comes back to me again. And so I would do it 1000% of the time.
Yeah, no, I think for me it's like I don't remember anything. Like I was literally asleep most of that trip too. Like I generally don't remember anything. We had bad food, and I don't think I got that much closer with anyone there either. So I think like, again, if it was like, if I didn't have this knowledge before, I guess that
Would you go
That has
with?
biased my.
Yeah, then that just changes
No,
the entire answer.
Well, but back then, my answer was also, or my reasoning was a bit more biased
True.
because of reasons.
Yeah. Extrinsic
Yeah,
reasons.
extrinsic reasons, but yeah, I don't know. I feel like anyways, but back to what I was saying. Shoot, what was it? Like what I look for in
Yeah, you were-
profiles,
yeah,
like
exactly.
maturity, like how well they process like things and ideas and stuff, and whether it's like, I don't know if I can like back it up, if I can like track it, or if it doesn't, it just like pisses me off, and then I'm like, okay, I just don't want to talk to this person anymore.
Okay, so
Yeah.
maturity is a big thing for you.
Maturity, definitely. Romantic, in terms of a romantic partner, I think definitely like how they treat other people. Back to this whole idea of like witnessing that third party thing. Yeah, I think like also what you're saying, like many people, like people can like put their best foot forward against me, like show me like their kindness or their gratitude or whatever it may be. But I think it's truly tested when like I truly observe it being displayed for other people consistently and constantly. And I think kindness is a big thing. I think humor is another thing. I was talking about this with my friends the other day. I was like, yeah, I think I would want my partner to be funny. And they're like, oh, do you want her to like laugh at your jokes, or do you want her jokes to make you laugh? And I was like, every girl laughs at my joke.
It's like, whoa, man, it's like, you gotta clip that.
I was like, what am I supposed to do? Like,
More plugging in this episode has been insane.
Wait, no, that was even like intentional, but it's like, if I was looking for a girl that I can make laugh, like, come on now. Like, it wouldn't be that hard. Sorry. It's hitting a certain hour right now. Yeah, but
Yeah.
I mean, how would you approach that, Daniel?
Me? Like what I look for in friends in a romantic
Yeah,
partner?
like a profile.
Honestly, for me, it's one and the same. I don't think there's a huge discrepancy. I think I just like surrounding people myself with people that I'm comfortable with, both sides of the equation. And so I don't really have. Is this a red flag, Marissa? I don't really have a change in standard between romantic and friend.
I'm in the same boat.
Yeah, there is very. I mean, there's obviously differences, but if I look at a standard face-to-face value, I would love to have a partner or a friend that I'm just me with, and I can spend endless time with. I think that's my litmus test with. Yeah, what is that?
Wait, no, that's not a red flag.
Oh,
That's
thanks.
good. You just have a standard.
Yeah, I have a standard.
Important to have a standard.
Yeah. So that's my standard for I think just anyone in my inner circle. I think whether it's relationship or friends, they're in my inner circle at the end of the day, and I think that basis is, can I be myself around you, and do I feel like I have to constantly be performing around you, because for anyone that knows me, like performing is a huge part of my life. Like I think I've been under the microscope in like what I do, like all my accomplishments, my lack of accomplishments, or whatever these kind of things since I was born. Really, like that's kind of how it always was. And so, do I feel like I am performing with you, or do I feel like I'm not performing with you? Like, do I have to prove my credentials and my credibility with you, or can I just be myself, kind of thing? And so, I think it's the same standard both ways. Like, if I feel like I need to boast to you like what I do, or like I need to like prove my worth to you. Yeah, let's not be like anything kind of thing. Like you're kind of out of my inner circle. But if I am able to even be lacking or be like not worth certain things, but you still take me as I am, that's kind of when you really get into my inner circle, and I feel like I don't have to perform all the time. And so, yeah, I think that would be my answer. Hopefully, I didn't raise any red flags, Marissa. But yeah, so I'm picky, and so that's kind of what it is. Yeah. What are you?
I think I do have a difference in terms of what I look for. I think like with just friends, I don't really have like a standard. I think all people have like some kind of redeemable trait about them that makes them interesting. And so like friend-wise, I feel like I have a very wide variety of types of people that I would call friends. And like I find that there's something interesting and something like worth delving into with each person. This of course comes out of like a basis that is less like happy-go-lucky of like, I just feel like humans are just not meant to be trusted, including myself, right? Like, just humans will fail, and humans will always like break your trust, whether by their own volition or not. And so I just have a base idea of like humanity is not to be trusted, only God is to be trusted, right? And so when I look at humanity with like that lens, then I don't have to expect anything from anyone, and then I can focus on like looking for whatever the redeemable qualities of that person are. I find that a lot more interesting because like I think people are also as much as they are not to be trusted, they're also very interesting, and God must love them for a reason, right? And so spend some time like finding out why God loves them, right? So I think with friends, that's where I like have like kind of like my set standard. I think like with like a potential like romantic partner, I do feel like the standard changes a little bit in terms of like in those cases, I don't know. I think I find attraction towards people that have like a strong in Korean it's like ki, right? Like energy, or like have a strong personality, and like kind of have like a. There are those people that enter a room and have a presence, and then there's people that just kind of like you would forget that they were even there, and so I like people that have that kind of presence about them, and like they don't have to like, especially like people that don't have to do anything in order to make that presence felt per se. Like there's people that try to have that presence, and then it doesn't really succeed, and it just kind of sometimes comes off, I don't know, as annoying or something like that. And then there's the people that like they just have like a certain like presence about them that like that is like, I don't know, that's attractive to me. So like for that profile, I think I look for that like initial impression of like, oh, this person has like key.
Yeah. So yeah, I think just to wrap up, this episode, like I said, is about the impact of first impressions, and I think the takeaway of it is, people's first impressions aren't everything, and I think we should probably feel a little bit more space to understand people and kind of reconsider in that aspect. And so, yeah, if no one does anyone have any last thoughts they want to share, or Jumar, you said you had an ending?
Like, subscribe. Thank you for listening. You might as well might as well comment, you might as well share, put some effort into it, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Find us on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Spotify.
Oh, and big shout out to Dsong and Marisa for coming on today. And
yes.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, thanks guys.
Peace.
Bye.